There is a stretch of desert in northeastern Utah where people say strange things happen. Ranchers talk about cattle that disappear without a trace. Hunters describe hearing footsteps following them across empty land. And some locals claim that something in the desert can imitate human voices. Many of those stories are connected to a place called Skinwalker Ranch, a property surrounded by decades of strange reports. Some people believe these stories are connected to the legendary Skinwalker, a figure in Navajo folklore said to be able to mimic animals or even humans. But the man in tonight's story didn't believe any of that. At least, not until something started walking beside his truck. And now, we're going to hear what happened, in his own words. My name's Jake. Back in 2015, I was working as a ranch hand in northeastern Utah. It wasn't glamorous work, mostly fixing fences, feeding cattle, and checking the property at night to make sure predators weren't getting close. The ranch sat about 40 miles from the nearest town. Out there it's just desert, miles and miles of sagebrush, dirt roads, and open land. At night the sky is so dark you can see thousands of stars. And most of the time, it's completely silent. One night around 2 a.m., I was driving along the southern fence line in an old pickup truck. The headlights cut across the dirt road in front of me. That's when I saw something standing ahead of the truck. At first I figured it was a coyote. That's normal out there. But as I got closer, I realized something wasn't right. The animal wasn't moving. Most coyotes run as soon as they see headlights. This thing just stood there, watching me. So I slowed the truck down. And that's when it did something I still can't explain. It stood up, on two legs. Jake says the creature walked slowly off the road and disappeared into the darkness. He tried to convince himself it was just a trick of the light. But the next night, things got worse. I was doing another patrol around midnight when I noticed something strange. In my side mirror, at first it looked like a shadow moving along the road. Then I realized it was keeping pace with the truck. Whatever it was running beside me, just outside the headlights. I sped up. The shadow sped up too. Then the radio in the truck started crackling. I thought maybe it was my boss trying to contact me. But instead of a voice on the radio, I heard something whisper, "Jake." I slammed on the brakes. The truck stopped in a cloud of dust. And the desert went completely quiet. Then the whisper came again. This time not from the radio. From outside the truck. "Jake." The voice sounded like my brother. But my brother lives in Colorado. And I hadn't seen him in months. Jake turned the truck's headlights toward the fence line. That's when he saw it clearly for the first time. I wish I could say it looked like an animal. That would have made more sense. But it didn't. It looked wrong. Tall. Maybe 7 feet. Its arms were too long. And its eyes reflected the headlights like a deer's. The thing tilted its head when the light hit it. Almost like it was curious. Then it smiled. But it wasn't a normal smile. It looked like someone stretching their mouth too far. Like it had learned what a smile was. but didn't quite understand it. Then it spoke again, and this time the voice was mine. It said exactly what I had said earlier that night. Hello, but it sounded distorted, like an echo played through a broken speaker.
Jake didn't wait to see what would happen next. I slammed the truck into gear and drove as fast as I could back to the ranch house. I didn't even look in the mirrors. But I could hear something running behind the truck. Fast. Really fast. The sound of footsteps hitting the dirt road. Then suddenly, nothing. Just silence again. When I reached the ranch house, I locked the doors and waited until sunrise. The next morning, I went back to the road with my boss. I didn't expect to find anything, but we did. At first, they looked like wolf tracks. But the spacing between them didn't make sense. They were too far apart. Like whatever made them had been walking upright. Jake only worked on that ranch for 2 more weeks. But on his final night, something happened that convinced him to leave for good. I was loading tools into the truck just before sunrise. The sky was starting to turn blue over the mountains. That's when I heard a voice behind me. Soft, almost friendly. Jake. I froze, because I knew that voice. It sounded exactly like me. I didn't turn around. I got in my truck. And I drove away. I never worked another night shift again. Stories like Jake's are one reason the region around Skinwalker Ranch has become famous for unexplained encounters. Many locals believe these experiences are connected to the legendary Skinwalker. Others believe something entirely different is living in the desert. Something intelligent, something patient, something that listens carefully until it learns how to sound human. So if you ever find yourself alone in the desert at night, and you hear a voice calling your name from the darkness, you might want to think twice before answering. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more terrifying true legends.